All right, welcome into the second lesson inside the frequency of money. How are we feeling? How are we doing? Callie said she's working, so she's got her camera off. Okay, everyone else, if you can, put your camera on. Doesn't matter if you're in your pajamas or if you're eating, whatever is going on. If you can put your camera on, that's amazing. Um, if you can't right now, that's also totally cool. So to open it up, I want to hear who's making moves. What are the moves you've made? Anyone want to share? Anyone want to share in the chat? What are the moves that you've made this week? Okay, because this is a moving and shaking group, right? This is a group where we're like, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm making the moves now. And coincidentally, I just saw what you put in the chat there, Nicole. That's how we're going to find out what our limiting beliefs are, not the other way around. We can't sit here and become aware of everything that's holding us back just by thinking about it. We got to make the moves. Okay, I've got lots of like juiciness today for us. Um, I thought I was making the moves Monday and then address this. Not necessarily because it's like are you talking about the thing with your grandson? Yeah, you were making the moves, and that's an accident that could have happened to anybody, and just gratefully you were there and you cut him, and even though you had to jump in and even though the phone and all the things, I showed up totally unprepared for the situation. It was humiliating. Do you want to open up and talk about what that means? Like, how are you unprepared for the situation? You were there looking at it for like retreat space, right?
Yeah, I was there looking at so the guy that I do the ecstatic dances with, he owns an event center and he invited me to come out there. He's like, "Oh, I found this place. It would be so great for retreats." And I thought it was just going to be me and him. He sent me all this information. The people that own it have kids. It looked really chill. So in my head, I'm thinking this is like just this chill, like we're going to talk to this guy, check out the space. And then when my tutor canceled, I was like, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to come." And he's like, "Oh, I'm sure it's fine if you bring all the kids." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." The guy, that mind you, Jeff, who owns the event center I do my ecstatic dances at, does not have kids. So he doesn't know anything about it. So I should have asked questions. I showed up in like shorts and a t-shirt because it's in Florida on a river in the middle of the woods. So I'm thinking like we're in the woods, like this is real low key. There's kids there. Like I showed up 20 minutes late because the kids were starving on the way and I had to stop and get some food. But I didn't realize he was loose about the time, so I didn't realize there was a time schedule factor. I'm just thinking me and Jeff are just going to like talk to this guy, check out his yurts and stuff. It was a full-blown they were doing a tour with like these people were like on their lunch breaks in like dress like suits and like looked like they're at a business meeting. And I show up in like shorts and a tank top with a fucking van full of children who are screaming about wanting to go in the water. And I, like the guy that owned the place, I'm like, "Can my kids go in your pool?" And he's like, "Oh, the pool's not working right now. And there's nothing for the kids to do." And they're not letting me talk. It was, first off, that was all embarrassing. Then we go by the water and they're like, "Ooh, water." They run to the water. My my grandson goes straight in, goes under. Like it was scary because the water was like dark and fast. I go in, I'm now soaking wet in my full clothing, not a bathing suit, not like a full, and everybody just keeps on with the tour except one guy who was like, "Hey, you okay?" It was the most humiliating. Like I felt like I was on a fucking reality TV show. Like, am I really? And I just fucking left. So I was not prepared. I thought I should have asked more questions. I thought it was just me and Jeff like going to chat with this guy. There were like 10 to 12 people having a tour to talk with him about investing and shit. There was like people in like slacks and I'm just like rolling up in my flip-flops and like my fucking herd of children. It was humiliating. It was so awful. But
I
this is
can't believe
actually
he
like
invited you at that same time. Why did you have to go at that same time?
Well, he thought, like, I guess he organized a bunch of people going to check the place out for different reasons, but I had no clue. But I had just gotten through like Sunday, I was talking to my husband and I was like, this is going to be huge. I'm going to get in with this center. And like, Jeff thinks it's going to be like perfect for the retreats I want to do. And like, I was like, this is a major move. Like, money moves. I'm like, this is a major move for me. I know this is going to like catapult me. I literally like wanted to fucking kill myself. And that
That's
was what
so
brought up
funny. Oh
all
my
these
God.
like underlying beliefs. Cause like the shit I was saying to myself in my head for the last 2 days was so mean. Like the things I was telling myself, like were just so mean. And I'm like, wow, there's a lot of stuff still in
Yeah.
there.
Exactly. That's beautiful. So that's what I meant just before of like when we're making the moves, that's how we're going to become aware of the beliefs. So this is really funny. I'm sorry, but it's also like a beautiful experience for you to like reevaluate like what could have I done differently just from on the other side, not to feel bad about it because it happened. You're like, all right, knowing what I know now, not doing that again in that way, what would I have done differently? And yeah, exactly. Like you said, ask more questions, got more info. Um, Something else that, for me personally, and maybe some of you here resonate with this, maybe not. I'm always dressed how I want to feel. So for me, like that's a thing is like if I'm going anywhere and I live in a small town, and that's how one way that I embody that identity of the millionaire version of me is like I don't leave my house. I don't even yeah, in my house, I dress as I want to feel because the better I feel I look, the better I feel. Does that make sense, you guys? It's like looking in the mirror and being like, "Oh man, like whatever it is. Like I haven't showered in 2 days or whatever." It's not that. Like I have already built up the routines and like the regime for myself where like it's a non-negotiable for me to look my best for me, not for everybody else, for me, because that affects my vibration. So in my opinion, you had to experience that. I like the outfit, it's not like the others. All right. Interesting situation, right? So you had to go through that for some reason because it's all happening in your favor to help you to become the version of you that you're here to be. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's also like it all is happening for you. So thank you for sharing, Nicole. And it's beautiful because now you have a lot of information to work with. You have a lot of that, like you said, the noise in your head, the voices in your head. You have lots of like even tangibles, right? I was casual hippie vibe. They were all business. So funny. I love it so much. Oh my God. Okay. Humiliating. It could be, but also like, do you know any of them? Like they don't know you. They don't know your story. Probably half of them don't even have kids or like whatever it is. So there's so many different variables. It's all good. Okay. Um, Thank you for sharing. So who else? Is anyone else making moves? Is anyone else making moves this week? What have you done? Anyone want to share? You're welcome to unmute too if you're like struggling typing. Yeah, exactly, Callie. I think it's great that you showed up like your true self, Nicole. The suits need to realize there's more than just one way to do life. It's true. Yep, that is true. But at the same time, like maybe they were like you said, they're like investors coming for like a serious business conversation. Like, of course they're dressed like that. You missed the memo. You were not there on the same terms. So yeah, amazing. Okay, keep sharing, you guys. You guys know that yesterday I got my nails done. That was one of the moves that I had been waiting to make. It has been coming up for a little bit, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna do it. And for some of you, even in this room, you might be like, that's like totally something I do all the time, or like that's insignificant. That doesn't have a meaning to me. But for me, it does. And that's all that matters, right? So I want you guys to realize like whatever moves feel expansive to you, that is exactly what we're talking about here. It does not mean that you need to go get your nails done or you need to go and circulate your money in the way I do. Like it means like nothing. It's all unique to you. It's all unique to you. And what is that next level of expansion for you? And what that, like we talked about on Monday, what that wealth code is for you, because yours is different than mine. And so one for me was I went and got my nails done. And like you guys, the confirmation email came through at 11:11. For me, like that's all the validation, any like I didn't have doubt. I was like, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. And then I saw the confirmation come through. I was like, all right, I know that this is the right move because I'm always looking for opportunities to be her, to further embody that identity. And having nails is just something like she would do because it's normal for her. And I was thinking about this, like some of my mentors or some of the, virtual mentors that I follow online, I'm like imagining them without nails. And I'm like, not to be like shallow or anything like that, but I was like, imagine that this woman didn't have like her nails done. I didn't realize how big of a role it played for me, like how big of an importance that I was putting on it personally. So again, you might not resonate with this, and that's okay. But I was like, oh my God, it'd be so weird if she didn't have nails on. Cause like to not have nails, it's almost like you're looking a little naked, right? So I don't know if that lands for any of you, but anyway, um, I have another question. What did you do that affirmed that you're done waiting? Okay, so what moves did you make? Keep sharing. What did you do that affirmed you're done waiting? So what action did you take? And then I have one more question. Maybe someone wants to call themselves out and share a move that you're holding back on making. So that's another one. You're like, I know I could do this, but I'm holding back. Okay. Because remember, this again is a safe space, and this is how we're moving forward. So is there anything that comes up for anyone? What did you do that affirmed you're done waiting? For me, going to get my nails done. Went and got my nails done. Okay. And then what moves are we holding back on? And when we really sit with this and we're honest, we can find quite a bit here, right? Just like the question on Monday about conditions. Okay, I'm holding back on creating my next offer or trying to get new clients. Why? Anyone else want to share? Okay, that's great information, Nicole. I'm scared that no one will show up again. You know the amount of times that no one showed up to my calls? It would probably send someone into a fucking coma. Sorry for my language. All right? Straight up. But guess what? My vision was bigger than that. I knew where I was going, and there's not 150 people in this room right now. I could make it mean something, but I don't because I know where I'm going. Kids are used to it. Point two. All right. So great. That's great information. I'm scared no one's going to show up again. However, are we going to give our power away to it and making it mean I'm not worthy? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. And that's the name of the game. That's why most people quit. That's why most people quit. That's why most people go get a job. Or that's why most people stay in a job. All right. All right. What are the moves that we are holding back on? Anyone else want to share? Oh, switch right again. What are the moves that we're holding back on? All right. All right. I'm playing catch up. Watched half the first replay, but the moves I've made this week put me first. I took today off the day job, because I realized I needed to rest. Oh, sorry, I'm not even reading your words because I recognized I needed to reset me day. I usually talk myself out of taking a day off. I'm also working on my next offer today. So exciting. So good. Congratulations. You know, um, I see this one a lot, and I'm not gonna say I'm like giving you advice or anything like that, but it's funny because we have this kind of pattern and we're well aware of it, right? We're like, I'm in the job because it pays the bills, right? But when my business is there, then I don't need the job anymore. But actually, it keeps us in that pattern. And we know it. And we know it. What would actually blow up the business? Not having the job. All right. Well, we know that. Okay, keep sharing, you guys, and I want you to keep like thinking about this. What moves could I be making that I'm holding back on right now? Okay, so the identity of overflow. You guys have been sharing a little bit in the chat, and I absolutely love it. Um, I want to talk about what you guys have shared a little bit and use you guys as a little bit of an example. Okay. So, Nicole, I love what you shared. Her identity of overflow. She knows her worth, acts accordingly. She has no fear asking to get paid well for what she does. She never overgives. She has strong boundaries about her time and energy, doesn't skimp when it comes to quality. She eats fresh organic food. Like she listed off all these beautiful things. She wears organic linen, eats out at the best restaurants, all natural materials, wears gold jewelry, all of these beautiful things. She gets the support she needs without any guilt. She has a full-time nanny housekeeper. She has an assistant. She takes time away from the kids with her husband every month to strengthen their relationship. Amazing. Okay. So, Nicole, specifically, what of those things can you be doing now? And since you went through Manifest, you know that, right? But what of those things could you be doing now? Yeah, you're wearing gold jewelry. Amazing. That's awesome. So affirming that when you put it on and when you look at it, you're like, I am, right? It's no longer becoming, it's I am. Um, Another one is, some of those things require money, right? But we know, and this is what we're studying this week, is the money doesn't come first. The money doesn't come first. The identity comes first. The money follows, right? Yay, working to totally update my closet now. Amazing. And the first step is getting rid of the old stuff. So many people are like, oh, I wish I had more clothes. I'm like, get rid of the old stuff, make space for the new stuff. And maybe you have no clothes for a week. You're going to find a way to get more clothes. All right. Okay. So this is the be, do, have. The be, do, have, because it's all vibrational. So we choose the outcome. That's why I chose to get my nails done, not for like the physical look of it. It's for how it makes me feel, because then that affects my vibration and my point of attraction. So regardless of where it looks like we are right now, it all comes down to the feeling, right? Because we're not just going to become aware of our limitations by thinking about them. Just like I mentioned before, we've got to move first. So if Nicole wants to shop for all the organic food, like she said she would, if she went to go and like shop for that said food, she'd probably realize a lot of her limitations and her beliefs, right? The moment you get in that store and you're looking at the prices and you're like putting it in the cart, you're like, oh, geez, listen to those voices, because that is what is holding you back. So the sooner you can become aware and actually, it's like debunk it, like prove it wrong or let it go or override it. It's basically what we're doing is we're removing the conditions we put on ourselves. So if we're saying, I can't afford it, why can't I afford it? Well, because the money's not here yet. Well, why isn't the money here yet? Well, because I don't have the clients yet. Well, why don't you have the clients yet? And it's this loop. Why don't you have the clients yet? Because you feel like you can't afford it. Because you're operating in the paradigm of lack, right? So if abundance is our birthright, and if we say, I am abundant, I am wealthy now, I am healthy now, I have everything I need, I am always provided for, but we aren't living our life how we want to live, we're keeping ourselves in that pattern. Yeah, so I don't have the clients because I'm not putting myself out there because I'm afraid of failing. But it's more than that, because you could go and force yourself to put yourself out there, but that's not going to get you very far. How far has it gotten you so far? We talk about this often, right? Doing is not the answer. Being is. So it's all vibrational. So the reason why is because you continue to affirm, I'm not there yet. I'm not good enough. And you continue to, and I'm not just saying you, Nicole, right? I'm saying for everybody, all of us. And we continue to react to what is right now. as if it is the truth. Like the numbers in the bank. Well, I can't go do that because the money's not here yet, right? I can't get the support I need with the kids because the money's not here yet. Getting the support with the kids is going to bring the money. So this is something. So for me personally, I'm going to use the school as an example, right? Like not too long ago, my kids were home with me all the time. I have 3 kids. And that was intentional. I wanted them home. Like we've been like life schooling, world schooling. Like for me, travel and showing them the world is the best teacher. And it always will be. However, I wanted them to be in some sort of holistic education experience, right? And I started my own twice. And I was like, fuck that. This is not my calling. Like I am not here to lead kids in that capacity. I can organize it and do the back end, but there were so many logistics. I was like, no, I don't want to do this. Okay. It doesn't feel like my passion. So I'm not going to force myself to do this. So I wanted to put my kids in a program. I found a program. That version of me at that time was like, $700 per kid. I've got 3 kids. How can I swing that? It's almost $800 US per kid per month. Okay. And so I'm like, all right, the money's not here yet. I can't do that. And then this was like, I moved into that other house prior to this one. Where did the money come from? I don't know. Where did the money come from? I chose that house. I chose the school. And as a result, I changed. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? Instead of staying in the vibration of, I can't because the money's not here. I got to stay here because I'm stuck. I'm not happy. And this is not where I want to be. I really want my own place, but I can't because I don't have the money yet. That is a certain vibration. When I opened up to, well, what if I could? There's always a way. My motto in life is like, if there's a will, there's a fucking way. The money's going to come or some sort of exchange is going to be put in place. So I did it. I moved towards it and the money came. Okay, with the school, they offered me an exchange, a partial exchange for social media to do their online. Like there's always a way. Like I showed the other day with the cars. Okay. So we can stay in that loop, that pattern of it's not here yet, and in that vibration. And when we are in that vibration, just like Nicole said, it's because I'm not putting myself out there because I'm scared of failing. It's not actually that. It's because there's a gap in the identity. Right. So if we were moving as the version of us, thank you, by the way, Nicole, like you gave really good examples for us to jam on. So don't think that it's just you. But this is just such a good conversation. And I feel like it is relevant for some people, some other people in this room as well, and everyone on the replay, right? So where are we holding ourselves back from being that version of us? Because by hiring support with the kids, by putting the kids in the thing that we really want them to go in or whatever it is, by saying yes to the thing, what do? We affirm that's who I am. It stretches us. It doesn't feel comfortable. Doesn't feel comfortable. But we have the tools, and we have the community, and we know how this works. We know how our nervous system works, right? Okay. So we get to choose the outcome. We get to choose the outcome. Okay, I did that with my coaching training. I knew you were going to say this. And the money never came. Is that because I didn't believe in myself? I thought it was total faith, but then when the money wasn't showing up, I got scared. Yeah. It's a pattern. I can't say specifically why that didn't happen, but I know without a shadow of a doubt, you are not who you were back then. You are not now, you are not that version of you. Okay, so it's not like I'm just going to go and circulate this money in faith and it's just going to come back to me. There's more to the story than that. So what is the more? Well, am I moving as the version of me who the money would come back to? Am I making the moves? Am I implementing? Am I showing up in that frequency? And I love this conversation this week so much because it's all about the moves that we are making as someone who is the embodiment of the frequency of wealth, the frequency of money. So it's like, and let me know if you want more clarity, anyone here about this, right? But there's no separation. It's I am. the money's already here because I recognize that I'm the source of my wealth and riches. So I'm not looking for it outside of me. I'm not looking to get clients. I am looking at who I am. It's that law of correspondence, right? That universal law, the law of correspondence is when we don't like the results that we're seeing in the mirror, we don't hate the mirror or try to change the mirror. We look at ourselves. Okay. And yeah. Okay, I hope that's helpful. But we get to choose the outcome, right? Regardless of where we are, it all comes down to feeling and vibration because we're not just like going through the motions of life as it comes at us. We are co-creating it from the inside out. And we become aware of the limitations of the old ideas that manifested this reality through moving first. We become aware of the blocks, the limitations, the doubts, the fears. Okay, so here's more of the pattern, actually. I'm looking at my notes. On that conversation of Nicole shopping for organic food, this is the pattern, right? She's in the grocery store. Okay, the money isn't here yet. I'm not able to get that food, right? And then every time she goes and opens the fridge and sees the lack of food or the non-organic food, she's reminded of where she isn't. That impacts her vibration all the time. So if the money isn't here yet, you're gonna have to look at the fridge differently. I'm not telling you to go into debt to go buy organic food. Okay, if the money is here and you're choosing to not circulate your money on the things that you know she would, there is a gap. Okay, but it takes emotional, it takes emotional freedom and it also takes radical responsibility of our own selves. Because it's easy to, just like Nicole said, take the training, invest in the thing, and do it in faith, but then spiral. Right? We can go and buy the thing, and then that voice comes in, and we're like, oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. What am I doing? My kids needed shoes. Right? And we can spiral like that. So if we don't have the money for the things that we know that she would do and how she would live, we have to get creative in our imagination. We must. And we must convince ourselves that it's already done. Okay, that sounds wild, I know, but it's how we are playing with the laws of the universe. So you're going to have to look at the fridge differently. You're going to have to look at your clothes differently. You're going to have to look at your house differently. And you really have to watch your vibration. What do you do when you start to spiral? Stop yourself. Yeah. Right away, put a stop to it. I don't live there anymore. Stop it. And you go and do something else. Right. Maybe you put on music. Maybe you go and, read your contract from Manifest. Like you just switch it. Yeah, I don't live there anymore. Okay. All right. All right. I'm just looking at my notes. It all comes down to how we're feeling, right? So if we're not making the moves, there's a reason why. And that reason is an opportunity to unlock that new level. So the nails makes me feel like $1,000,000. What happens as a result? I attract differently. I show up differently. I feel differently. I create and think differently, and I make more money. It's something so simple, but for me, it's the meaning that I gave it. Okay, the condo that I live in, it's more than I was previously paying, not a huge amount more, but it's still more, and I didn't even question it. Okay, my friend said before we moved into this place, was like, you should negotiate the price. And I was like, no, I'm not. That's not what she would do. She's not over here negotiating prices, right? There we go. So I said yes, 2 more. So also, Victoria shared her identity of overflow as well, and this is awesome. My identity of overflow is a woman who knows there's 10K in her bank account and another 10K on the way. She expects it with her whole heart. She knows she's supported through the work she loves. Her clients love working with her. She breathes deeply, lives with certainty, and trusts herself completely. Amazing. Amazing. Embody that now, right? Be that now. Circulate your money in that way now. I notice that a part of me still believes money can disappear at any moment. So I stay hyper vigilant instead of relaxed. Even though I know better intellectually, there's still a fear that if I fully show up, fully trust, and fully embody her, I might not get the results I'm hoping for. Amazing. And I love that honesty, right? And that's beautiful. Now that we know, we get to work with that. There is no what if, right? I am the best. You are the best. And there is no competition because there's no competition on the creative plane. So the moment that we're in competition with other people, usually what happens for me, I see people looking too much side to side. We're looking at what other people are doing. So if that's something that's affecting you and you know that, stop looking side to side and stay in your own lane. But your blinders on, laser focused on where you're going. So Victoria specifically, I would suggest following that fear back to the root if you haven't found out where it came from. Then I would do some work there to let it go. So I have an inner child quantum healing visualization. I could put it in the group chat for you guys. And I would go back there and I would really go and almost relive that situation. The earliest memory that you can recall of feeling that same fear, go and relive it and forgive yourself and forgive everyone else involved. And seriously, once you do that, it is healed. Okay. You get to choose when you're healed. And by doing that, you close the gap. Yeah, you're so welcome. And from there, that is going to come up again. That fear is going to show up every time you step outside the comfort zone and do the thing. And I love the daily, can't remember what you guys called it, the daily moves, right? Those money moves. That is going to challenge you, but you have to be stronger than these thoughts. You have to be stronger than the younger version of you or other people who have put these thoughts in your head. And so anytime it shows up again, you override it. After you've already healed it, you're like, it's done. I don't have to go back there again. This is where a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs get caught in this cycle of I'm still healing. No, I'm healed. You're healed because you decided you're healed and you're done with it. So water the flowers, not the weeds. Still working on that inner authority and letting the third bully me when things don't happen instantly. Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like a big piece of this is faith, right? Coming back to faith. Always. I have faith. It's all happening in the perfect timing for me. And the universe has got my back. There's no way I can fuck it up. Yay. Amazing. And it's all a journey because we always get what we ask for. That's the thing but we're asking not through I need this thing to happen. I need more clients. I need this to work out. I need 100 people in my room. I need whatever it is. That's not how we ask. Because when we're asking in that way, we are sending out the signal of it's not here yet. And that's what's going to be matched back to us every time. So instead, I actually just put a tapping activation inside the group chat as well. You guys go check that one out. That one's thank you, right? Thank you. It is done. Because when we affirm that and come back to gratitude, it's already done in the perfect timing. And then we make moves from there. We no longer have to wait. I spent a lot of my life and a lot of my business waiting for something to happen. It was waiting for a breakthrough. People even talk about this sometimes. It's one day you're just going to pop off. I'm like, what? Okay, that's great. And if that happens for some people, I love that so much. But I do believe that it has something to do with a vibrational shift in your identity. So the more, and I play with TikTok, I play with all the algorithms all the time with this because I believe that the algorithm is source, is spirit, is God. It's all connected. And I'm not playing a game with my clients and trying to get clients, or I'm not even playing a game with anyone other than myself and source, right? And God. And so I am the source of my wealth and riches, and I get to choose how I show up and the certainty that I show up in. Anyway, when we do this as well, this is our be, do, have, right? When we show up in this certainty, this unshakable identity of the millionaire version of ourselves, not just through thinking differently, right? Not just through like changing our thoughts and like living in our imagination, but actually moving differently. When we do this, people around us are going to rise to meet us. We don't have to explain ourselves as much as we thought we had to, right? And also, some people are going to question us, and that's okay, right? But the more certain we are, the more we won't be challenged or questioned. Okay. Otherwise, especially people really close to us, they could project onto us their insecurities, especially when it comes to money, right? For me, I came from poverty. I can definitely feel the projections from my family. But can you hold it? Can you hold someone's projections? I can, because I know it's just their insecurities. I always come back to that law of oneness, right? Of like, I know that deep down, you are just projecting on me. You're just, maybe you want what I have, in some way, shape, or form, but you're not willing to accept it right now, or maybe you're not even aware of it. Yeah. Okay. So, where are we holding back out of fear? Hmm. I love this, Nicole. This is such good awareness. Thank you for sharing. That could be, I mean, she said, I feel like every time I make a money move, I fuck it up. Just like being ripped off by the car guy last week, just like the investment of the coaching that didn't serve me. So we have two choices here. We can continue to live through what happened, or we can see it as the opportunities that it was. That's what it was. You had to experience that with the guy, the car. You had to invest in yourself in that coaching program to learn the things that you needed to learn. And now to unlearn some of the things that you learned, right? You had to go through that. So if every single thing, like if we doubt, and trust me when I say like I have done this too, is like we look back on our life and we're like, oh, if I would have only done this. There's even been moments where I'm like, fuck, I fucked up my life. Like if I would have known, I wouldn't have done it that way. But really, every single thing was a setup to get us to where we are right now in this exact moment. Okay, so knowing that, we need to let go of all of that. We need to, whatever happened last time, we need to let go of that and literally burn it, like get it out, because otherwise you're recreating that. You're going to be living through that. And that's not what she would do, right? So if we take a look at millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, the amount of times that they would say that they failed. Maybe some of them would be like, I didn't fail at all. It was all a setup, right? Most people would probably say that. But a lot of them would say, I failed countless times in order to get to where I am right now. Okay, so this little like, oh, I'm not going to show up because I'm not mocking you as well. I love you. I'm not going to show up because last time nobody showed up. Please, please. I always just think of there are people out there waiting for me. Okay. The amount of times that I've been like told, you're too much. You don't make sense. No, I don't care. And trust me, there's still sometimes those voices in my head when I'm doing like TikToks and I look at my videos, I'm like, my God, that voice in my head is like, no one even has a clue what you're talking about. Where did that voice come from? I don't need validation. I don't need you guys to say, oh, yeah, I get it. No, my mom used to tell me that all the time. Stop saying that. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody cares. Interesting. Okay. So I don't water the weeds. I water the flowers. And I know that the perfect people will find me. The perfect clients will find me. The perfect things are happening. It's all happening in my favor. So instead of saying, oh, I got ripped off by the car guy last week, fuck, I learned a really valuable lesson. And it actually wasn't that expensive of a lesson. So thank you, right? Thank you to the car guy. How can we find gratitude in that? Okay, I went to this thing on Monday and I learned a lot. Wow. I invested in this program. I learned a lot. I'm grateful for that woman, right? I'm grateful for what I learned in that space and what I took from it and what I now know. None of it was a mistake. All right. Okay. So I want to say something here that we're not talking about like these, how do I want to put this? I want you guys to see that making new moves is an everyday event. It's actually in every moment. It's not just bigger moves, like we can say, like investing in a coaching program that was, 4 or 5 figures. It's not that. It's there are moves that you could make that are available to you right now that affirm that new identity, but only you know what they are, right? And a lot of them will have to do with money, right? They will, because that's what we're focused on this week. But a lot of them don't necessarily have to do with money. Okay, what comes up when we say that, you guys? Is there anything that you're like, okay, the moves, and it can be anything, it can be simple things. It's like, do I choose this or do I choose this? There's always a choice in every moment. Okay, let me know. What do you think? What's coming up? I'm like sweating in here to turn on the AC. Ooh. Okay, getting up early. I'm still struggling to get back in my routine. What would she do? We talked about this the other day. We put these like we put these conditions on ourselves and we make them mean something. If I'm not getting up early, I'm a failure. If I'm not getting up early, I'm not my best self. Yeah. Okay. That's good. She has stronger boundaries around getting everyone in bed before 9. Yeah, that's a good one for sure. However, we know where you are right now in your life as well with kids, with the grandson. She probably gives herself more grace than you give yourself, right? She probably surrenders a lot more than you do. She has stronger boundaries around getting everyone in bed before 9. And then she also accepts herself more probably as well too. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else want to share? What conditions are we putting on ourselves? Need to let others start. I need to stop letting others suck my energy. She would not even allow this for 1 second. Yeah, dude. So what are some ways you can do that now? What are some ways you can do that now? And this is cool because this one is specifically on our own selves. Okay, I don't know. This is cool because, like I just said, it's on us. It's not like, oh, if he would just, be like a good human being, then I wouldn't feel this way. No, it's not that at all. Like he's going to do whatever he wants, or they're going to do whatever they want. However, it's all in the meaning that we are giving it, and also in the assumptions we have around the other people. Mhm. So if we're telling ourselves that they're showing up in a certain way, or even before we're around them, we're like, oh, I need to go and do this thing again, and I'm meeting with blah, blah, blah. And I know that they always suck my energy. What's going to happen? You're going to have the same experience. However, if you can prepare yourself and say, what if they don't? Right? What if they are XYZ? And even just opening up to that what if can help to shift the energy. So you can go from what if to they are and refuse to see them any other way. Because when you hold someone to a different standard, they will shift. Okay. Maybe not completely. And it will be interesting to try to hold yourself to that new projection or new assumption of that person. However, when you do, man, they're going to show up differently, but also you're going to feel differently. So if you can, and I know that you and also many of us in this room are empathetic, right? And we take on other people's energy, we feel people. So preparing ourselves, they don't suck my energy because nobody can suck my energy because I'm fucking unsuckable, unshakable. That's what I'm declaring. And then even if there is situations that you're navigating that you have to navigate, stand strong in the energy of and the identity of her without reacting. So that's how, I don't know if that helps there, Natalie, but that's how would she move through this? How would she show up? How would she view this situation? How would she assume this was going to unfold? Yeah, to do with co-parenting with a narcissist, so it can be complex. Yeah, absolutely. And like we talked about before, seeing him as like the human that he is, as well, seeing him as, and again, this can be a little bit projecting, but you've already labeled him as a narcissist, right? So if you see him as a narcissist with those tendencies, okay, he's going to show up in that way, yes, but also then you know how to navigate it because you're like, oh yeah, this is just him. It has nothing to do with me. He can say whatever he wants. He can try to do whatever he wants, but I'm solid in me. And like you mentioned the other day, you've got the people in place and you're doing your part to make sure that these things are still like, yeah, they are still happening in the right way. Hope that's helpful. All right, you guys. So bringing it back to the beginning, bringing it back. Yeah, you're so welcome. It's not about what we do. Doing isn't the answer. It's about who we believe we are and making those new decisions and those new choices right here and now. Because there's opportunities everywhere we look to affirm expansion, elevation, wealth, luxury, whatever it is you're affirming. Okay, so simple example. Instead of drinking out of the shitty old mug, you have a nice one. That is a simple little affirmation. I am worthy. Okay. Instead of putting on the comfy clothes because that's just the habit of what you do, you put on the clothes that you save for that day. Why? For no other reason than it makes me feel good. Because feeling is the secret. When I look in the mirror, I want to be like, dang, I feel so good. All right. So what are some other choices that you're making on a day-to-day basis? And you guys let me know in the chat, like what are some upgrades that you're making intentionally? Maybe you notice something like, wow, I don't actually have, it could be anything. I'm gonna use underwear as an example. I don't actually have any nice underwear, right? As soon as I got like the nails yesterday, I was like, wow, suddenly I feel overdressed. That is showing me exactly what I've normalized. And so, of course, this morning, trying to get the kids ready for school and everything with these things, I was like, yesterday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna like surrender into this identity. Absolutely. But the matter of fact is that these nails are a lot longer than I usually used to. And anyone who's ever had nails or has nails knows that it is a task and you do things differently. So this morning, I actually got upset with the kids, but it wasn't about the kids. It was about me and my frustration about how awkward it is to do things with these nails on. All right. So I decided that I'm going to surrender. I'm going to surrender into the nails. Okay. So it's so funny, but it's true. It's so true. It's ridiculous. Love the nails. Thank you. Thank you, Callie. I know. I do too. And it's so funny because I was looking at their colors and I was like, you guys don't have my brand color. What the heck? But then I got this like pink with the gold shimmer. You cannot see it on this video, but it's absolutely beautiful. And this is like close to my brand color, this. So then they're like totally complementary and they're totally it. So anyway, where was I? What are the moves that you can make right now? What is holding you back? What are you making things mean? Right? I said the thing about underwear. Okay, I don't have like underwear or that fits me well or feels good or whatever it is. So I'm gonna go and buy some underwear. It's like these simple little choices that affirm. Okay, from then on, every time I put on my underwear, guess what I'm affirming? I'm no longer available for holy underwear. And it's like it can seem like not important, but it's these little choices every day. Oh my God, there we go. I only get my nails done when I go on vacation, but she would do it all the time. Let's go. Who else booked a nail appointment? Right? Because it's how it makes you feel. All right, you guys. Does anyone have a question before we close out lesson two? I feel like the concept here is relatively simple. However, to actually make the upgrades before the money comes, now that we are aware of that cycle, oh, I can't get the help because the money's not here yet. And I can't, and then I can't get the clients because I don't have the time or I don't have the, I don't, it's all a loop. When are you going to break out of the loop? Mhm. Because the money will come when you break out of the loop. And there we go, I need a nanny. I know you need a nanny. So go and get it, go and find a nanny. That's your work right now, Nicole, is go and find a nanny. Why aren't you finding a nanny? Because of the money. Because you're not making money in your business right now. And you feel bad because you don't want to ask your husband for help with money for the nanny. Okay. So then go and find someone who will exchange with you. Right? Go and find someone who will exchange with you, or go and get a nanny for one day. Even give yourself like 5 hours. 5 hours will change your life because those 5 hours you get out of the house as her, fully embodied as her. You get out of the house and then you show up in your creative essence. I'm not saying you have to go and power work for 5 hours, but go and do you for 5 hours. Eventually you're going to get into that flow but you need to break out of that. And a nanny, okay, what's a nanny going to cost for those 5 hours? Guess what? You going out uh into the world as the embodiment of her and affirming, I am the type of person who gets a nanny, who has a nanny, you're going to make that money back because you're going to receive different information. You're going to be inspired in a different way. The money's going to come for you to pay for that nanny. It also lights a fire under you, right? If you're like, okay, I need to pay a nanny $150 a week. Got to make $150 a week. Let's go. Money's everywhere. If we really look at it, we just need to get creative and become aware of how to call it in. Yeah. And then this goes for all of you, all of us. There are people out there waiting for you. Okay. I could cry. Like there are people out there waiting for your specific genius, your specific lived wisdom. There's a lot of people online right now making a lot of money that are way less qualified than you. And I don't mean like certified, I mean like life qualified, like wisdom, lived wisdom. And you're holding back. You know how selfish that is? You know how selfish you're being if you're not putting yourself out there? Yeah. We don't want to be selfish like that. We want to go and do the thing. All right. So to close out, this is it. Make the moves. This is the week where everything changes, right? We've all agreed, we've all declared. This is the week where the time collapses, where everything changes, not through doing more, but through being more and making new moves in a new way. Of course, there's doing. We must do our part. But it's not that hustle grind. I'm gonna stay consistent. It's no, I'm actually deciding that now I'm ready. And then it's making the moves and the upgrades in your life now with that level of certainty. All right. Because that's how you're actually going to call it in. Let's keep sharing in the group chat, you guys. If you have questions that come up maybe from this call or after the call, put them in the group chat. Everyone is probably certain that someone else in this group has the same question as you. So drop it in the group chat. Keep sharing what you guys are doing. And remember to go and check out the audios as well, because we have audios dropping in there every day. You're so welcome. So good to see you guys. Go have the best day and evening. And I will see you on Friday for an embodiment call, but I'll see you inside the group chat. Okay. Thank you guys for sharing. Bye.